Bill O'Reilly is going to turn dark here and pretty dangerous, in my opinion, with an over-the-top, bombastic claim that I hope doesn't have consequences, but the way he's talking, you fear what will happen with what he's saying in the wrong hands. So let's take a look, and then I'll break it down.
To stand up for justice and against inequality, and to ensure that every human being is able to live in dignity, because we are all made in the image of God.
The key words there are every human being is able to live in dignity because we are all made in the image of God. So, Mr. President, are aborted fetuses able to live in dignity? They're not able to live at all, are they? The Pope may not know this, but last Friday, 177 Democrats voted against a House bill that would require American doctors to keep babies born alive during an abortion process from dying. 177 American elected officials, all Democrats, voted for infanticide. We have posted their names on BillO'Reilly.com. That is barbaric, and President Obama said nothing about it.
Bill, either you're a liar or you're a dumb person. Do you know what you just argued? Did you hear yourself as you were talking? You just said 177 Democrats voted for infanticide. Infanticide. You know what that is, right, guys? That's killing children. Literally. Not abortion, not killing a fetus at a certain stage of development. No. Infanticide is genocide. He just said 177 Democrats voted for infanticide, which is genocide. You have to know, number one, that's untrue, and I'll explain to you guys in a second why that is. But number two, that's dangerous, man. And believe me, I'm the last one to make the argument, well, you shouldn't say X, Y, or Z, because then somebody might misinterpret it and might do something dangerous as a result of what you said, because the problem is not with the person who's making the original claim, it's with the misinterpretation of whoever the fuck did it and the crazy person who took it in their own hands to do violence. But this is a case where I fear you don't need to misinterpret what he's saying for somebody to do violence. Because you just said Democrats are doing infanticide. They're okay with genocide. Wouldn't a rational person try to do violence against Democrats if that's really what they were doing? If Democrats were really carrying out a genocide, wouldn't that be the right response? Hey, we need to stop them by any means necessary. They're doing violence. They're doing genocide. We're protecting by killing the Democrats. That argument could be made. So let me give you the details. Here's the truth, Bill. Quote, this is from Crooks and Liars. The House of Representatives voted 241 to 187 on party lines on Friday to block Planned Parenthood's funding for 1 year and to add redundant, keyword, criminal penalties on abortion doctors under the Born Alive law. So, let me break that down in plain English for everybody. Do you know what that means? This is the oldest political trick known to man. You attach something to a bill that you know the opposition is going to vote against, because they should, like defunding Planned Parenthood, but you attach something to that bill which, at plain face value, nobody could argue against. Nobody could argue against. Now, that's obviously already law. You're not allowed to do infanticide in the United States of America, you clown! That's obviously illegal. You want to know why? Infanticide is killing a human being. That's murder. Murder's already illegal! But if that's not clear enough, it's also illegal under a separate bill when they describe exactly what they're talking about here, so it's already illegal in multiple ways. But what you do is you attach that to a bigger bill. The bigger bill is something you know the opposition's going to vote against because they should vote against it. And then when they vote against it, what do? You go, I can't believe you guys are pro-infanticide. I can't believe you guys are pro-genocide. I can't believe you guys are in favor of murder. I mean, look, that's what it's in the bill. You voted against the bill. It was in the bill. But it's already law. Where obviously murder is already illegal. And this exact kind of thing they're describing here is also illegal. But ignore it. Ignore it. But see, Bill, the vote against it is obviously, clearly a vote against defunding Planned Parenthood. And that's what this comes down to. Like I said, he's either a liar or an idiot. It's one or the other. There's no other way of describing it. Either he knew exactly what this vote was about, and he decided to twist it and lie about it, or he's a dunce, and one of his staffers said, the Democrats voted for infanticide, and he was like, oh, that must be true, because I don't like Democrats, so it has to be true. Just because you don't like Democrats doesn't mean that literally any argument ever made against them is correct. There can still be made-up arguments against them, fake ones, dumb ones, whatever. Bill, this is dangerous, man. You're the guy who repeatedly said, Dr. George Tiller, the baby killer, Dr. George Tiller, the baby killer, and then one day, a far right-wing terrorist killed Dr. Tiller. And then afterwards, Bill O'Reilly, in classic Bill O'Reilly fashion, he rationalized it in his mind somehow, and he acted like, me? I had nothing to do with this in any way, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Again, guys, it's one thing if somebody's making an argument, and somebody misinterprets the argument and then goes and does violence for that thing. Because the problem was the misinterpretation in the mind of the person who did the violence. It's a totally other thing when there's no misinterpretation, and the rational response, given the set of facts you just described, would be to do violence. If somebody is literally killing babies, and no, then the authorities refuse to do anything, it is the smart thing. Okay, we got to stop this guy somehow. What are we going to do? I don't know, fucking kidnap him. These guys went as far as to kill him. Same thing, the Democrats are for infanticide, which means they're for genocide. If the authorities aren't going to do anything, and those are the real facts, that they're doing genocide, what are you going to do? You should stop them. If you're a good person, you should stop them. But that's the thing, Bill. That's not what's happening. You made up that that's what's happening. And even for the funding of Planned Parenthood, it's not even going towards abortion. The Hyde Amendment says that federal funding cannot go to abortion. So 97% of what Planned Parenthood does is not abortion. It's just, standard reproductive strategies for women. I'm sure they're involved in the pill, and they're involved in condoms, and they're involved in education and things of that nature. So they're not even funding abortion. So you're getting all outraged and accusing the Democrats of being in favor of infanticide, which is genocide, when all the Democrats are doing is voting for family planning. And then when somebody does some far-right terrorism, because they heard this segment, he's going to go, me? I never said anything. Come on, guys. This has nothing to do with me. And by the way, they'll also make the argument, that terrorist is not a right-winger either. You have to be responsible for the things you say. I try my best. Yes, I go after conservatives strongly. I go after religious fundamentalists strongly. I go after imperialists. You go down the list of things I go against. But I try to make clear that we're fighting here in the realm of ideas. And the only time that violence is ever okay is in self-defense. There's an imminent threat of attack against you, and you're doing it in self-defense. With what Bill O'Reilly's saying here and how loose he's playing with his words and the false claims that he's launching here, Bill, not only is it factually incorrect, but it's also immoral and unethical. You should come out and correct the record, and you should definitely apologize.